Phones here. Tom Squateri.
John, good afternoon. Thanks. I have two questions emanating from Ukraine. One is over the last couple of weeks, Swedish defense ministers have been very strong in their language in support of NATO and a strong position on Ukraine. Likewise, Finland has said, if Russia pushes it, it could consider joining NATO. What are the advantages of having Sweden and Finland in NATO? That's my first question, please.
Tom, that's a question really put to NATO officials in Brussels and to the governments of those two countries. As you've heard us say many times before, NATO membership is between the individual nation wanting to join and the alliance, and any decision one way or another are going to be made by those two parties. So that's really a better question put to those two governments. I would not even begin to speak for the sovereign governments of Sweden and Finland.
All right, fair enough. My second question is, over the weekend, British defense officials raised the concern that Russia may cut the cables, the undersea cables, and they considered such an act of war. Given your knowledge of the law of warfare, would the Pentagon consider such an action an act of war?
I'm not seeing those reports, Tom, one way or the other. So I think I'm gonna decline to speculate on what is or isn't an act of war when it comes to undersea cables. I have not seen the British comments, so I think I'm gonna take a pass on that today.
All right, thanks for your time.
Yeah, you bet. Okay, Mike Brest of the Washington Examiner. Mike Brest.
Thanks, Mr. Kirby. Question was actually already asked and answered.
Thank you, Mike. Tony Capaccio. You there, Tony?
John, sorry, I muted myself. Tony Capaccio.
Go ahead, Tony.
John?
Yep, I got you.
Sorry, I muted myself accidentally. The DoD assessment team that visited Ukraine recently, have they produced any recommendations for the types of weapons or equipment the Ukrainian military may need, or is it still crafting a recommendation to the interagency?
They were largely looking at air and missile defense, as I understand it, Tony. And they've been back a while. I'll take your question to see if there was some sort of more formal recommendations made. I'm not aware of a formal report that was issued. They just took a look and consulted with the Ukrainians about what they believe their air defense needs were. I would just tell you that we have and we will continue to provide security assistance to Ukraine as appropriate going forward. We remain committed to helping Ukraine be able to defend itself across a range of capabilities, quite frankly.
Can I ask you, are Stinger missiles, though, one of the weapons that the team is eyeing to recommend? That would be a major escalation of our weaponry to the Ukrainians if we gave them Stinger missiles.
Yeah, again, Tony, I've got nothing specific to speak to in terms of future capabilities or whatever the assessment team learned. I don't have anything specific for you on that. I mean, what I would again tell you is we have in the past, and we will continue to provide articles which will allow Ukraine to better defend itself.
Okay, please give us a written answer if you can, and put Stingers in there or not. Thank you.
I'll do the best I can, Tony. But again, I don't want to get your hopes up on a whole heck of a lot of specificity here.